Sup, my name is Ray for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Welcome to Tech Tuesday. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if my throat sounds off, that's mainly why. We are talking about Fusion Conscription, which comes out of Crossover Souls, which releases May the 15th. So we got about 2 months before it fully, completely releases. But this is one of the better cards for tech stuff in the entire set. And it interests the hell out of me. And I really wanted to talk about it, so I waited till now just to talk about it, because we have the red eyes, we have the black eyes, we have the red eyes, black dragon support. So now this makes a little more sense to also look at it and say, hey, can we use this for the deck? So basically, I'm going to run down the effect, run down the rules and everything about that, because there's a lot of misconceptions on it. We're going to clear that up. Reveal one fusion material monster from your extra deck, and if you do, you can add one of the fusion materials listed on that card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It could be in the grave. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot normal summon or set or special summon monsters or activate the effects of monsters with the same name as that monster added to your hand by this effect. You can only activate one fusion conscription per turn. So, I said this before, but I'm going to just pretty much show it by using an example of Elemental Hero Prisma, who also has a reveal one fusion monster and a mill one, correct? Okay, in Prisma's rulings, and this is just to clarify on this, is right here. This line of text right here can only be used for fusion monsters that have at least one fusion material monster that is specified in name, and it can only be used to change its name to a specified name fusion material monster. You cannot reveal a fusion monster like five-headed and send any dragon monster to the grave. That means Fusion Conception will play the same way in the same source. So you can't grab that dragon ruler, you can't, off a five-headed dragon. What you can do is you can grab those blue eyes, you can grab those red eyes. So if you're playing stuff like Trade-In, now Dragon Shrine's a little more better for the pure version. If you want to, have Blue Eyes Ultimate in there, you could pretty much have Blue Eyes Ultimate, because you can net the Blue Eyes out of the grave. Then you can play Polymerization, which you could bring out by Fusion Sage, which gives the deck a little more speed. And then you can play Blue Eyes Shining Dragon if you really want to get sacky. So a lot of potential is coming out of this card, and it's not just for Blue Eyes. This also carries over for Red Eyes, because you could do the same thing. You can grab that Summoned Skull, you can grab that Red Eyes, you can grab that Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and yes, you actually can. This card can be searched out by Dark Sage, Ancient Gear Drill, Alchemy Magician, or Synchro Fusionist. Synchro Fusionist is like the only thing people are really going to use, or Sabatel, the Philosopher's Stone. Note that this card only restricts you from activating a monster's effect, and such as you can use it to search out a pendulum monster, such as Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and then activate at the same turn as a pendulum scale to use its pendulum effect. So it can search out the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. So this is a generic searcher to Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, so if your deck's going to be using that, keep that in mind. It's also extremely useful for Cyber Dragon decks, Glider Beast, because supposedly you can use it in your main phase 2. I believe that may be incorrect, because it just said for the turn. This card can only be this card can be useful in decks that use contact fusions. So you can use this in the Neospatians to get out certain key cards that normally you wouldn't have access to. So this becomes a rota for those kinds of decks. So you're not just limited to, say, Blue Eyes Ultimate .deck or Last Warrior .deck or just whatever. Now things like Shed Dolls will not be able to use that because of the Prisma ruling, which goes back to here. I'm going to show it one more time. That can only be used for monsters that have a specified name. So you got to keep that in mind. It has to be a specified name in order to get the search for the conscription. Sorry, the conscription. But this is honestly one of my favorite cards out of the Crossover Souls. It's one that basically activates as a rota and allows cards like Trade-In and seven star swords. I always get tongue twisted on it. Allows you to have access into those cards easier, and if the 7 sword stars would go back up from limited, then it could be used in a Red Eyes deck, because we have more Red Eyes cards to play. So now you can actually take that, search it, draw 2, don't have to worry about doing whatever, and then just go from there. You could set up faster. That's my point. With this, you can also use Dragon Shrine, send up Blue Eyes so you don't top deck it. Play this, grab the Blue Eyes from the grave, play Trade-In. Hey, look, you just went like +3. It's great. The one thing that sucks is you can't really get that White Stone that you really want to get. Now, I don't think there's going to be tons and tons of decks. It's going to be mostly fusion-based decks, but this makes decks like I don't know, evil hero is a little bit easier to play the decks that are not just the Gaia dot deck. You know, when it comes to just playing Elemental Hero, I'm sorry, I'm saying Elemental Hero, Evil Hero Gaia. It allows you to play Thunder Charger. I think it's Thunder Charger. I haven't looked at them in a while, but it allows you to play those kinds of cards and not have to worry about getting those materials to your hand. This allows Cyber Dragon to actually get a little bit of a boost. So you're not super focused on just OTK. You're actually focused on getting that stuff to your hand a little bit faster without really a cost. And the one thing to remember is we don't have complete rulings on it, so I don't know how that would play out if you can actually use in the main phase 2. It just says for the rest of this turn, you cannot normal summon or set or special summon monsters or activate the effects of monsters. Now, for a pendulum effect, that's a totally different story, but for anything else, I think it's going to apply that way. Let me know what you guys think about this and anything else you want to see coming up on the channel. Tomorrow we're going to have going up the what would you like to see during the month of March. And it's just basically the feedback video. There'll be something else out. I haven't decided what yet, as I got to see how I feel and what I could put out for you guys, because I'm still working on dual videos and stuff. Well, that'll be coming up Friday. Pretty much that's when they'll be filmed, and there'll be great content for the weekend. But let me know what you guys want to see, because it always helps when I'm kind of just like on writer's block and don't know, or I guess it would be video creator block where you don't know what you want to put out next. But thank you guys for the continued support, and I will catch you guys later. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Have a good night. Peace!